Hi, it's Paris from EpicReviewsTech channel, and the latest Christmas present has arrived on the doorstep. Not something for me though, it's for my teenager. This is a good thing that comes in a little package. This is the latest Motorola phone, the Moto G. It's a step-down version of the Moto X. It starts at $179, but it's got the quad-core processor, 4.5-inch screen, a few features missing, but for the most part, this is a big enough and powerful enough phone to make most teenagers pretty happy. But when they lose it, drop it, break it, you won't cry too hard. This is the US version of the Moto G. It's unlocked and it'll work on AT&T, T-Mobile network. They have an international version as well, but the US version is optimized to work on the bandwidth that we have here in the US for data, so it's better to get the US version if you're going to use it primarily here. Here is the phone, as I mentioned on the front. Motorola is owned by Google now, so it's a pretty pure version of Android on this. I believe they said it'll get updated to KitKat next month in January. A little on the heavy side, but that's because it's got a non-removable battery. The battery's already in it. So it's not too thin, not too light, but I think for a teenage bear it's going to be just right. Now it's got a little bit different placement of buttons. Looks like the power and the volume rocker are both on this side. Nothing over here. On top in the very center you've got the headphone jack and the usual micro USB charger and data port here at the bottom. Also in the box they give you the charging cable, which you also use for data transfer, but that's it. There is no transformer block, which means with just this you can only charge it by plugging it into a USB port of your computer. Or, of course, if you have a Kindle charger or another cell phone charger, that'll work with this as well. But to make this phone as cheap as they did, with as good a specs as it has, they have to cut corners, and so this is what you get for charging. And you have your instruction and warranty card. That's it for what's in the box. There are no earbuds or little microfiber cloth to clean it. This is what you get. Even though this doesn't have a removable battery, the back cover does come off. You can replace it with different colored covers. They know that appeals to teenagers especially. You also have to take the back off to put in your SIM card. So to do that, you hold it basically right here on the M in the back, and you're going to peel it from the bottom. And there it comes. It sure looks like the battery could come out, but as it says right here, hey, this battery doesn't come out. The SIM card slot is right over here on the slide. It takes a micro SIM card. There is no SD card expansion, so you get only the memory that's in it to work with. They have the 8GB model for $179, and for just $20 more, you get 16GB. I think that's the better value. If you'd like to check out the specs or pricing on it, I'll put a link to this down below. Again, this does take a micro SIM card, and it slides into the slot right here. I'm going to peel this off and start it up, see what the screen looks like. And Motorola does offer a migrate app. You download that on your old phone, put the app on here, and they say it will pull across a lot of the stuff from your old phone, the apps and different things. I don't know though that it takes the app content. For example, if you reached a certain level on the game, I don't think it brings that across, and that's really what I've been looking for. I hate to lose all the levels I've made it through on hill climb racing. That's actually not bad looking, fairly bright. It's a 4.5-inch screen. It's not full high def, but it's 1280 by 720 high def. I do notice though that the viewing angle isn't really great on this. It darkens out once you get a few degrees off center. Oh well, you gotta cut somewhere to keep it this cheap. Now you notice up here the 3G. This does not support LTE, the really high-speed data internet connection. So the fastest it will go on T-Mobile, I think, is 1421 megabit per second speed, which is still fast enough to watch YouTube videos and stream music, so I think it'll be fast enough for my kid. Okay, I've got my Nexus 5 next to the Motorola Moto G. I tried to pick similar color wallpaper so you can see it. Also, the size of the icons, the type, just looking at this new phone, man, I'm thinking I'm so glad I didn't get this for me. It's just too small. The icons and the type size are definitely larger on the Nexus 5. To test out the sound and the graphics, let's try a YouTube video.
Hi, it's Paris from EpicReviewsTech channel, and I'm doing a quick review of a present that
That's plenty loud.
received. She's a big Doctor Who fan, and so she received sonic screwdriver, the one that the 11th Doctor in the series uses. That's the Doctor played by Matt.
The camera app seems to work fine, came up very responsive. Has an interesting feature built in for video recording. It does slow motion. Just with a tap of an option, it'll do slow motion. I'll put a clip of that in here. And they just released an Android update to 4.4.2, which helps a lot with the camera app in the Nexus 5. The Moto G is supposed to get that update in January. It may improve the camera even more. Just as I had the Galaxy Note 3 for a couple weeks and sent it back, it was just too big. It didn't feel comfortable in my hand and decided to go with the Nexus 5 instead. I think this is just the right size phone for my teenager. I think anything bigger, she might have the same issue with not being able to hold on to it. It may slip and fall more easily. And the fact that the screen is smaller, well, that's fine because her eyes are better than mine. So if you'd like to check out the specs and pricing on the Moto G, I'll put a link to that down below this video. In January, after my daughter's had a chance to use the Moto G for a while, we will do an update video, and I'll put that right here. But I think I'll find out before that whether or not I made the right choice in phones.